Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Road to Greatness. This is episode 25. To think that we are 25 episodes in is pretty crazy. And I didn't think that I'd ever enjoy doing YouTube as much as I do. But regardless, here we are, and let's rip straight into it. My name is Elijah Citroni, and we are officially 12 weeks out from show one of my first ever bodybuilding show. And the last catch up, I didn't share any details into what's been going on or how I've been traveling. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about food because that's everyone's favorite thing to kick off with. Nothing's really changed. Unfortunately, the only real difference that we've had is I now get to potentially have an extra high day during the week. So training days are still 2,250 calories, 250 protein, 225 carb, and 50 fat. And non-training days being 225 protein, 175 carb, and 50 fat. So 2,250 calories on a training day, 2,050 calories on a non-training day. And I have one high day during the week, which has me at 2,750 calories with an extra 125 grams of carbs to keep me plodding along, so to speak. And I mentioned that I may have a second high day during the week. That very much depends on what my body weight does. I might get these massive weeks where I drop all of a sudden, and the next thing you know, okay, we need to add in some food to the system, let it slow down this rate of loss. Or I may have weeks where I just sort of hum at the same weight, and with there we keep business as usual, run the low days until I do end up dropping weight a little bit. And currently sitting weight-wise at 77.2 kilos on average. We're estimating my lowest weigh-in to be around 73.5, so about 4 kilos off in 12 weeks. Survey says we're doing pretty good. But into that, my expenditure hasn't changed as much either. Steps are currently sitting at around 15,000 per day, which is very doable for me. Most days they're sitting more towards 16,000 anyway. Due to the nature of my work being on my feet, walking around the gym floor, I also habitually go for walks, 1 to 2 walks for about half an hour at either end of my day. It's a nice way for me to kick off my morning with some movement and end my day with some movement. On top of that, I've also started doing ruck walks. So I take a backpack, put about 10 kilos worth of stuff in there. Currently it's 2 5-kilo bags of rice, and I go for a walk. So reason for this, I haven't had much of a chance to fit in extra cardio throughout the day, and 15,000 steps is already a lot of cardio as it is. It's anything north of 10,000 steps I consider formal cardio. So rather than trying to add more, I would much prefer to be more efficient with my time and less efficient with my calories and start walking around with a weighted pack. That's certainly been interesting. I have found that it does make the walks a little bit more challenging, especially on the days where I'm not eating as much. But regardless, there's still a really great way to expend some more calories. I don't believe it's this magic bullet that's going to make everything better, but I do believe that it means I can be more efficient with my time and less efficient with my calories when it comes to expenditure. And if it is doing what I hope it is, that's a win in my book. Now that we've talked on nutrition and steps, let's just run over training quickly because I have made some changes. I did end up developing an adductor niggle that is impacting my ability to perform some of my lower body movements, specifically when it comes to my quad work. And I do believe this is a consequence of me being lean. Fat does play a role in cushioning joints and providing support around those areas. And so putting on my subclinical hat for a moment, that niggle itself is more than likely caused by an unstable pelvis, specifically around my pubic bone. So if you were to imagine you got your two hip bones here, our right one and our left one, at the back where they meet, where the base of your spine is, that's your sacroiliac joint, the SIJ. At the front here, that is your pubic bone, okay? And that's where they meet. And so I believe there's an instability at the pubic bone. The reason why I say that, I'm not getting lower back pain. My lower back feels fine. So if I was getting lower back issues and stuff running down my legs, I would think that it was an SIJ issue, but it's not. It's at the front where my adductor is. So I believe it's an unstable pubic bone, which is fine. It's part of the course. I've never been this lean before and things happen. So we crack on. Issues like this, regardless if it's an SIJ or if it is a pubic bone, anything around the hips, we want to avoid split stance loading. So if you were to think of a split squat, if you were to think of a lunge, things like that, where our feet are staggered in any sense, that can cause a degree of torsion is the wrong word. Maybe it is the right word. Regardless, like a shearing force or a torsion, probably better to say it, yeah, torsion, there we go. A torsion in the pelvis where it wants to twist, that can piss it off because you think about it, these two are together. If we're almost like trying to do a screw, if we're almost like trying to screw something, we're causing some force to not go the right way, right? And so what I've done here is I've had to limit the amount of split stance exercises that I do, and just keeping them further away from failure as well. I used to run a dumbbell reverse lunge. That was mainly, again, for hip stability, and I do see benefit in doing a single leg exercise like that. But for the sake of avoiding split stance loading, or at least not loading a split stance position as much as I typically would, I've subbed out that dumbbell reverse lunge for a front foot elevated cable split squat, where the cable's actually a little bit higher. It's more around my waist height. Reason for that is it reduces the amount of force going through my hip and my knee. So it acts almost very similar to the weight stack on a assisted chin-up. And I'm more using that weight as a counterbalance to allow me to go down and come back up in a more comfortable fashion. Because right now, going full range of motion is very, very uncomfortable. But deloading my body weight off that movement or during that movement, I can get down there pretty comfortably. And so that's what I've chosen to do instead. And I've found it's been really, really beneficial by just allowing for healing through movement, especially in an area like the hips. That's something that I certainly believe in, is medicine through movement, or movement through medicine, whichever way you want to say it. And so far, things are working. So I'm going to keep at it, and I'll keep you guys in the loop on how this adductor keeps going. Its strength is probably down about 20%, thereabouts. And that's no surprise, but it is starting to improve quite a bit. I managed to do very close to the full stack on an adductor machine. And typically I have an adductor machine plus a 20 kilo weight on there. So we're moving in the right direction. That's the main thing. Overall though, I'm feeling really good. Again, we go into this idea of prep that it's going to be this super big challenging thing, or we take on something, we're like, oh my God, this is going to suck. It's going to be terrible. When as a matter of fact, I've come to realize that the story I tell myself about who I am and what I'm doing dictates how I feel. And that has been really, really cool to see. I'm taking on something tough, but I'm someone who takes on challenges head first and makes the most of the experience. And so far, I have really enjoyed this journey. Every up, every down, every sleepless night, every failed rep, every struggled step. Everything I have enjoyed, and I have been doing my best to immerse myself, to allow it to wear me, to crawl inside my skin. And I could not be more excited for what the next 12 weeks has to offer. In 3 weeks' time, we're going to have the event with Rise to Greatness, We're going to have the event with Rise to Greatness with Chris Do that is hosted here in Sydney. I'm very much looking forward to that. And 2 weeks after that event, we have the bodybuilding Down Under meetup in Brisbane. That is also something I'm looking forward to. And before you know it, I'll be 6 weeks out. And before I've known it already, this prep's almost halfway over. And the presentation of my physique currently, I'm not going to do a shot yet or share any clips of how I'm looking at the moment, not for a while. Has been really cool to watch and see myself in peeling back the layers. It's been very refreshing, and I've developed a deeper love for myself and what this body and what my mind is capable of. And it makes me very excited for the future. Went on a bit of a tangent there, but to bring it back, I am feeling really, really good. And I can lay that at the feet of the story that I've been telling myself about the experiences that I'm going through. And so thank you all for tuning in. If you like this episode, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and as always, team, I'll catch you next week. Until then, take care. We'll talk soon.